For years, Lakers fans have whispered the same thing. That smile you see in public isn't what's really happening behind closed doors. And now, it turns out, they might have been right. While Lakers owner Jeanie Buss was laughing it up next to LeBron James at press conferences and courtside, there was growing frustration brewing privately. Not just about the losses, not just about the roster, but about control, ego, and accountability. And according to recent reports, Jeanie wasn't the only one feeling it. The tension between the Lakers' front office and LeBron's camp had become very real and very personal. What makes this story explosive isn't just what came out, it's how it came out. This all surfaced after ESPN published a deep dive tied to the jaw-dropping valuation of the Lakers, reportedly nearing $10 billion. Once reporters started digging, long-buried family drama came spilling out. The Buss family isn't just an ownership group, it's a fractured dynasty. When Dr. Jeanie Buss passed the team to his 6 children, the fighting didn't stop. It escalated. Jeanie Buss eventually took full control as team governor, and in the process, she fired every one of her siblings from Lakers operations. According to ESPN, one sister even begged not to be fired, asking to resign instead. She later described feeling discarded, like a piece of paper thrown in the trash. And when people feel burned like that, stories don't stay quiet. That's when the leaks started. Among the details that surfaced were Jeannie's private frustrations with LeBron James. Specifically, concerns about his massive influence over basketball decisions and the power wielded by those around him. The Russell Westbrook trade became a major point of contention. Multiple reports have long suggested that LeBron strongly supported that move, but when it failed spectacularly, accountability became murky. Behind the scenes, Jeanie reportedly bristled at what she saw as blame shifting and a lack of ownership when things went wrong. The frustration didn't stop there. Even the drafting of LeBron's son, Bronny, reportedly left her feeling that the gesture wasn't fully appreciated, a moment she believed deserved more gratitude than it received. Here's the ironic part. None of these thoughts are shocking. In fact, many around the league have likely felt the same way about LeBron at different points. The difference? Most owners don't have family members willing to leak private conversations out of spite. And that's why this story isn't just about LeBron. It's about power, legacy, and what happens when a dynasty starts eating itself from the inside. The strangest details to come out of this report is what reportedly bothered Jeanie Buss the most. It wasn't just roster control. It wasn't just the Westbrook disaster. It was the credit. According to the article, Jeanie privately resented the idea that LeBron James was viewed as the savior of a struggling franchise when he arrived in 2018. She didn't like that the story became LeBron rescued the Lakers, instead of praise going to ownership and leadership for landing him. In her mind, LeBron chose the Lakers, but the Lakers didn't need saving. That's where the story completely loses the plot. When LeBron arrived, the Lakers were not a sleeping giant. They were a mess. Years of losing, lottery picks, front office chaos, coaching turnover. This was not the gold standard franchise Dr. Jeanie Buss once ran. And that context matters. Under Jeanie Buss, the Lakers were arguably the greatest franchise in modern sports history. 10 championships, the best win percentage in the league, only 2 missed postseasons in over 3 decades. Stability, stars, and vision. After his passing, everything unraveled. Under the Buss children, the Lakers missed the playoffs repeatedly, cycled through coaches and executives, and became a punchline. The one championship of the kids' era came with LeBron James, period. You can argue circumstances, you can argue Anthony Davis's dominance, but without LeBron choosing the Lakers, that banner does not exist. So the idea that Jeanie Buss didn't see LeBron as a savior is honestly baffling, because that's exactly what he was. Not a miracle worker, not a long-term fix, but a superstar who instantly restored relevance, credibility, and championship expectations. And here's the part that shouldn't have surprised anyone. This is the LeBron James experience. High talent, high maintenance. In Miami, he made his decision in a televised spectacle, drama from day one. Months later, he reportedly pushed for Eric Spoelstra to be removed, believing Pat Riley should take over. In Cleveland, he signed short-term deals to maintain leverage and control. In Los Angeles, the same pattern followed: influence, pressure, power, and constant urgency. That's the trade-off. You don't get LeBron without chaos. You don't get banners without headaches. He will rearrange the furniture, eat everything in the fridge, and take over the house, but he'll also pay off the mortgage. Complaining about that after accepting the deal feels disingenuous. If anything, this article exposed something else far more clearly: the Buss family dysfunction. Jeanie, wanting credit for turning things around, ignores a major truth. She didn't engineer a master rebuild. She got lucky. Twice. First, LeBron chose the Lakers when no one expected it. Then, another generational star fell into their lap later. That's not elite leadership. That's inheritance meeting opportunity. It's the classic story of a rich kid inheriting a successful business and wanting to be praised as a great entrepreneur. And the ugliest part? These leaks didn't come from rivals. They came from within the family. Siblings willing to drag their own franchise through the mud, a franchise their father built, even as each walked away hundreds of millions of dollars richer. The damage control came quickly. Jeanie Buss publicly insisted that LeBron had always been appreciated and didn't deserve to be dragged into family drama. Rich Paul echoed the same sentiment, saying that in any long relationship, frustration is inevitable, and that this situation was being overblown. And honestly, he's right. There was annoyance, there was tension. But none of this changes the core truth. The Lakers knew exactly who they were inviting in, and they still took the ring. LeBron James has never stayed anywhere this long. This is year 8 in Los Angeles, longer than his first run in Cleveland, longer than Miami, longer than any chapter of his career. And like any long relationship, no matter how successful, friction is inevitable. At some point, patience wears thin, egos clash, and little annoyances start feeling much bigger than they actually are. So when LeBron was asked about the report, his response was almost dismissive. He made it clear that articles don't bother him, that at this stage of his life, he's not losing sleep over what people say behind closed doors. He joked about watching golf every day, about being too old to care about narratives, especially ones coming from people who no longer control the team. And that response matters because it reframes the entire story. The ESPN report wasn't just a leak, it was a farewell. This was the Buss family's final word on the Lakers, a last attempt to shape the narrative on the way out. And in trying to settle old scores, they ended up revealing something far more damaging than anything about LeBron James. They exposed themselves. What this article really showed wasn't a hidden truth about LeBron's ego or influence. Those things have been public knowledge for 2 decades. What it exposed was the real curse hanging over the Lakers since Dr. Jeanie Buss passed away. The moment the franchise stopped being a professionally run organization and became a family feud disguised as a basketball team. Under Dr. Buss, the Lakers were ruthless, modern, and obsessed with winning. After his death, that edge disappeared. Decisions became personal, power struggles replaced vision, and one of the greatest brands in sports history slowly turned into a soap opera. But now, that era is over. The Lakers are no longer a family business. They are now controlled by Mark Walter and his ownership group, the same group that took over the Dodgers when they were being mismanaged, embarrassed, and treated like a private toy by ownership. Back then, the Dodgers were broken. The moment Walter's group stepped in, they did something revolutionary. They acted like adults. They hired professionals, they trusted experts, and they stayed out of the way. The results speak for themselves. Since the change in ownership, the Dodgers have won multiple championships, reached the World Series repeatedly, and made the playoffs every single year. That's not luck. That's structure. That's competence. That's the standard Dr. Jeanie Buss once set in Los Angeles. Which is why Lakers fans shouldn't be angry about this story. They should be relieved. This ESPN article wasn't about LeBron falling out with Jeanie Buss. It was the closing chapter of an era that should have ended years ago. The Buss kids era is officially over, and this messy, bitter leak was their goodbye. For the first time since Dr. Buss died, the Lakers finally have a real chance to be a serious franchise again. And fittingly, the story doesn't even end with LeBron and the Lakers. Because as the league quietly prepares for expansion, LeBron's long-term ambitions are already shifting. Ownership, influence, possibly even a future franchise in Las Vegas. And that conversation just took a strange turn after recent comments from Adam Silver, comments that may have reshaped the timeline for the NBA's next big move. And that is where this story goes next.